Tony?
Johannes, obviously not the result you wanted. What's your verdict on the performance and the outcome in general?
Yeah, I tend to look at it with where we can be better and do better. And I think when the game is like it was tonight, then we have to win 9 out of 10 games like tonight. But it seems like that one game out of those 10 happens too often for us, and it seems like that's half a chance is enough for the opposition team to score a goal against us, and that's of course a bit frustrating. But in many ways, I'm pleased with a lot of things that we do, but lack of killer instinct and lack of final quality and taking care of all those situations we have in and around the box, we of course need to do better.
But of course, it could have been so much more different. You've got the perfect start. Had you come in at 1-0 at half time, they've got to change and have a bit of a rethink.
Yeah.
But it's another soft goal, or a frustrating goal to concede. Slightly unfortunate by the fact it seems to have come off Simani's back from the defensive intervention. But these goals are hurting you, aren't they? Soft goals. It just can't keep a clean sheet at home.
No, and you're right. Yeah, you're probably giving me the question because you need some kind of an answer. And I think the fact is that there's not always an answer. Why does Jack Stacey head the ball down to the shoulder of Vanis? You never know, and there's just, of course, situations like that can happen when the ball is in the box. I always look at it and say, okay, we have to avoid to give that throw in away. We know that the way they create chances is mostly through long throws, and that's a big part of their game plan. So we have to avoid making it a game where they can create the chances that they want to create. And then I don't agree with that we should have come to halftime being 1-0 up, because I think what we know from this team is that we have to score the second one, and we have to probably also score the third one. So I would have liked for us to be even more offensive-minded after the first goal, even though I think we did some okay stuff, even though I think we had a fair amount of situations in the box. We didn't allow them any chances, but still, unfortunately, enough for them to score.
Shane Duffy on the bench tonight, your captain, would have been your captain. Why was that, please?
Because he was late for the team meeting today.
Can you just expand on that? So where was that? Here or
He was here.
And how late was he?
Too late not to start.
So what did you say? You just how did that play out? Did you just say?
But it's simple. You know, I set a culture for a football team where, you know, the players that do everything they can, and they are a big part of it. You know, I talk a lot to the players about how we should do things and how we should run things, and we have some simple rules and few rules. And of course, sometimes a player can make a mistake. It's not ideal when it's on a game day, and then the way we drive the culture is very, very simple for me to take that decision. And it's unfortunate for everyone. It's definitely unfortunate for Shane, because I don't think he did it on purpose, or I know that he didn't do it on purpose, and probably also a little bit unlucky with the situation today. But that's how we run the football club.
Did he understand why you've made that decision?
I hope so. I know that he was frustrated about the situation because he really wants to play. But I think we've made it clear that incidents like that cannot happen, especially on a game day, and especially the day before a game. And we had it with Jose a couple of weeks ago. I can't remember before what game, and it was an easy decision to take, and it is, even though I don't like it, but it's an easy explanation also for me to give to the player, because that's how we run the team, that's how we run the club, and the culture is always on top of anything else. That's how we're gonna do it. But again, you know, there is room for mistakes, but in my opinion, the mistakes should be followed up by the consequence. But it also means that Shane is back with the team again when we train next time, and if he's good enough, and if we want to select him, we select him for the Tuesday night game.
Last one for me. No Angus Gunn. Am I right in saying he injured himself during the Blackburn game, jumping over an advertising hoarding, or strange injury?
I don't know if it's exactly when he was jumping, but it was when he was running. He felt something, and it was not enough for him to be to come off in the game. He felt all right in the game. He also felt all right the days after, and we didn't really think that it was something. But then he could feel it, and we thought, okay, probably it's a little bit of soreness, tiredness, something like that. But it was too much for him, the pain. So we probably have to look at it as a small injury.
So not back for Tuesday.
I don't know, because of course he's been with us on the pitch and we've tried, but it was too much for him. He could feel that pain, but I'm not there where I can rule him out for Tuesday. But there's a risk that he will not play.
And no Nunes as well tonight, Johannes.
No, he felt tired and sore in both his hamstrings after the game in Blackburn, and with his amount of days on the sideline this season, we have to go with low risk for him, and he's not been on the training pitch with us this week because of that tiredness, and he haven't really recovered that well from the Blackburn game, so it was probably a little bit too much for him to go through that game. So we decided not to bring him today, and then hopefully he can be around the team again.
Positive though, Kenny McLean back in the mix. In the light of no Nunes tonight, was there any temptation to start him, or again you got to err on the side of caution?
Yeah, there's always a temptation when you look at the situation that we are in, but we have to be smart in our decisions, because the last thing we need is an injury or something for him, and obviously he hasn't played for 3 weeks or something like that, and has been out, also not training for 2.5 weeks, and has only been with the group for 2-3 days leading up to this game. So it would have been too much for him to start the game. But of course, you also and always want your best players to be in, but yeah, we have to be sensible here.
Going back to the keeper situation, I mean, with Reyes, obviously you were able. It wasn't a sort of thing that was sprung on him. 24 hours out from the game. I presume he sort of was able to prepare and knew that maybe he was going to have to play.
Yeah, we have prepared him, and of course also the situation with Dan Barden being on the bench, where he just came from a loan situation, so we had to clear that situation off that we can bring him on the bench. So of course it's something we have known about a couple of days, and then I think Vinny as a person is ready for that. He also comes from a loan spell where he played a lot of games, so fair play to him, because it's never easy just to step in and make his debut. Where again 2 months ago he was in a different league, in a different club, and was not at all around the team in any way. So I think fair play to him, because like I said, it's not easy, and he did what he should.
Yeah, and I think with that as well, it's not just the ability, it's the temperament. Can they handle that as well? But clearly he seems to be a character who took it in his stride. Yeah,
and I think he had some moments out there where he could choose the simple pass, which he did in one occasion, and then some of the other times he made those good passes to the midfielders or the centre backs, so we could progress the game from there. So I think overall he did well. It was probably not the most busy game that he's ever had in his career, but what he should take care of, he did.
Obviously, going back to the Duffy situation, is it particularly frustrating for you as his head coach that's an experienced player, that's one of your leaders, and you talk about culture and you want your leaders to set that culture?
Of course, it's not ideal. It's not what you wish for on a game day. But of course, in many ways, you have to be, or at least you have to understand that things like that can happen. It should, of course, obviously not happen, but it can happen. But then it's just an opportunity for one of the other players who was supposed to be out, and then go in and give it a shot and show what they can do. That's how it is. And I think the players they know exactly how we treat the team and what the culture is about, and how we do things, and what is not allowed, and what we can allow. So I think it was an easy call for me to give.
As you said, you referenced it there. It comes off the back of Cordoba as well. I mean, do you have to reinforce this now once you get past this game and you sat there with the boys at Colney, that you can't have these incidents happening?
Yeah, of course, but I think they know, and I don't think they do it on purpose. I think Jose was not on purpose, even though it was not ideal, of course, and Shane doesn't do it on purpose again today. I would also say he's a little bit unlucky with the situation, without going too much into details about it. But that's how it is, and there's probably other coaches or other teams or other managers that deal with this in a different way, and that's why it doesn't come out in the media, or it's not there, because they allow it. And then there's some coaches and managers that they don't allow it, and I'm one of them, where especially on game day, and especially the day before a game, you have to be there on time, and if not, then there's a consequence.
And in terms of the game itself, as you said there, I mean, you think you've had the season's best possession stat tonight. Lots of possession, lots of shots. It's just, as you say, that killer instinct, as you labelled it at the start?
Yeah, it probably is. I'm frustrated. I'm annoyed in many ways that a performance like this doesn't give us 3 points, because it should be. And where we are is probably we really have to fight hard to make or to get a win. And even though we make a lot of good stuff, we scored a beautiful goal after 5 minutes and could have kept and should have kept that momentum in the game. I think we got ourselves into many good situations. We're in the box many times. We put the pressure we have to do. We get 12 corner kicks in the game. We don't allow them any chances at all in the game. I think we do everything that we are supposed to do, except that end product, except that final shot or whatever situation we are in around the box, where it's easy for me to sit here and say we have to do better, but of course I have to go back and look at what it is exactly that we need, because a game picture like today we've seen before.
I mean, I know you asked about it yesterday. You know, this sort of trend that you're trying to get past in terms of, again, tonight you took the lead and maybe just for whatever reason collectively you just sat back a touch, almost invited them in again. How do you get past that?
Yeah, I don't know. It's one throw in we gave away and then they score on that one. I don't think we invite them in. I think we had a lot of good moments after that. We have some crosses where we don't get the first touch to it to create an open chance, but we still are in and around the box. A lot of situations. We are in the final third. A lot of situations. Then one throw we gave away is enough to concede a goal, and that's probably the story of this game, and probably also the story of some of the other games. That is, we're too easy to score on. Even though I know that there's some, we're probably also not too lucky in that situation, because we get the first contact to it, but we hit it directly into the shoulder of a teammate, and then, things can happen when it's in the box. But I'm looking at it in a different way, where I see we just have to avoid giving them all the throws, because we know that's the way they create their chances.
Thanks, Johannes.
Yeah, just one from me. Kevin Fisher obviously helped with the opening goal. I mean, how much has he matured in the time he's been in the squad?
I think a lot, and I think he had to mature quite early and quite fast, because he's been a very important player for us the whole season, which was probably not our plans that he should be so early. But him and some of the others have had to mature quite fast, because that's been the situation for the team and in many games. And to praise him is one thing, but also want to mention a guy like Jacob Wright, who just steps into the team and plays like he played championship football for many years. But the fact is that he's probably his third or fourth starter with us, and he came directly from youth football. So we've had many of those situations where they just had to step in and they just had to mature in the game. And was it the plan with all of them? Probably no, because we would have hoped to have some of the other players available, and then we could nice and easy just bring them into the mix of the group. But they have had to mature, and I think they do definitely their best. You can take Vinny, our goalkeeper, as one of them as well, where now he has to take that position. Now he has to do his job, even though it was probably not in our plans that he should do it, but sometimes as a football player, you also have to take your opportunities, and I think Kellen have done it.
Thank you, everybody. Thanks.